My name is Totalbiscuit, and I suck at Starcraft 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Totalbiscuit, and I suck at Starcraft 2 so badly. Well, this is the third game in a series of 3 with my training partner Absalom. He's a mid-level diamond player, he's pretty good, and he offered to train me, which is excellent. So, I played the first 2 games and got absolutely annihilated, mostly through my own stupidity, I might add. So, I talked to him for a while, and he explained all the things I did wrong in the past 3 plays, and I thought, okay, well, let's try and do this a little better. Now, I get a bit luckier this time, because he is much, much further away from me than he was previously, so his scout isn't quite as early. But he does send out 2 drones, which of course does hurt his economy a little bit, but it does allow him to scout me very early on. Why would he do that? Well, we were discussing, before we played this game, the viability of 5 Rax Reaper, which is 5 barracks pumping out Reapers against Zerg. Very powerful build right now. It is getting nerfed in the patch. And, of course, the idea of proxy Reapers and just general early Reaper cheese. Now, he scouts me nice and early right there. And what he did do, actually, here, is he complimented me on the placement of my supply depot and my barracks, because that actually makes it quite hard to attack my mineral line. That said, it's not really going to make too much of a difference. I didn't wall off here at all. He could have 6-pulled me again. Obviously, he wasn't going to, but he could have. The thing is, it would have taken him a little longer for his Zerglings to get all the way across the map here. It's not an ideal position for a 6 or 7 pull. And what I could have done to respond to that is just dump a bunker down, a Marine or 2 on the mineral line. It should have been okay. Whatever the case, he's actually going for a spawning pool on 12 this time around. So a little bit different, and he's got that early extractor, which again could indicate banelings, it could indicate roaches, or it could indicate a fast tech up to lair. He scouted my barracks a couple of times, and instead of going Reaper, I decided I'm going to go for a Marine-heavy strategy from the start, because I've been burned by Mutalisks badly in the past. Marines are pretty powerful as long as you don't go up against too many banelings or roaches, and with Stim, you can overwhelm in large numbers. So I've got a single refinery up right there to make sure I can get a little bit of tech going. And my economy is a lot stronger than it was in the first game, as you can see. I'm actually doing very well. I'm ahead of him in terms of what I am gathering at this point in time. And that's because he sent out those 2 drones to scout, and he's not been mining all that much. He's already got an extractor, so his mineral count is a little bit low. Oh, out goes his queen, as you might imagine. Nothing too unusual there. The other possibility of going with that early extractor, by the way, it's difficult to call with Zerg, because that early extractor could mean like about 4 different things. You could also go for Speedlings, Metabolic Boost, which is nice and powerful, and very good for dealing with, say, harassment by Hellions, things like that. Speedlings quite effective in that regard. Also good against things like Stalkers, and they can slip around Zealots a lot of the time. Now, here's my wall. Having learned from the previous Baneling bust, I'm going to make my wall out of these 2 barracks. Now, this is a late wall, which means I could have been hit, like I said, by that very unpleasant strategy earlier of the 7 pull, but as it turns out, that's not going to happen. He's also building a Baneling nest. Now, I don't believe I'm aware of that. No, I don't actually scout him at all here, which is incredibly risky and stupid, honestly, but it's because he's all the way over the other side of the map, and I actually check all the other points, and it turns out he is not there at all. Kind of irritating, but hey, there you go. Now, that is a wall. It's a little trickier to get past if you want to send an assault out, but my strategy at this point was I'm going to go heavy into Marines, and I'm also going to go to Medivacs. So I don't really need to get out of my base. This is nice and secure. This is Baneling-proof, give or take. And I've got 2 reactors going up there, and I'm going to start pumping out lots of Marines. I'm going to make sure my mineral count's good. I've got the mules pumping in the extra resources, and I'm going to see what I can do with that. Here comes his Speedling upgrade, along with his Banelings, and he's going to scout me, and I imagine, I can't quite remember, this was a few days ago, but if he scouts that wall, he's not going to try and Baneling bust that wall, because it's a waste of Banelings. It costs too much. You're going to have to throw many Banelings at that wall, and that's assuming that you don't lose some coming around this ridge right here. This is why the Lost Temple's quite nice for Terran, and indeed, well, it's good for Protoss as well. You can stick Stalkers up on there. Think how tower defense works. You want to get the maximum amount of exposure to the enemy creeps as you can. So as it turns out, coming around a corner like this, the Marines get a lot more chance to fire than they would if they were stood, say, here. Because they got to fire as they pass. So there you go. They get a little bit of damage on right there. They're able to almost kill one, but he's like, haha, no, not going in there. The Banelings aren't going to work. I'm going to have to switch strategy. So what does he do? Well, he's going to take to lair. He's going to try and perhaps go with a little bit of Mutalisk. Here's the thing, though. I'm not going to have it this time around. I've got lots of Marines coming up, and I've got an engineering bay as well. I'm going to go for upgrades. I'm going to get my missile turrets. I will not be fooled the same way again. That was my attitude at that point. We're going all reactors all the time right here. I'm building a reactor here so that I can attach my starport to it. No problem at all. I can flick the factory out of there, move the starport in. I don't have to build another reactor, which is very time-consuming. Now, here we go with the banelings. Is he going to be able to crack anything with that? Well, not really. But he's also seen that I'm very walled in and fortified, so he can just get a free expansion right there. He's just going to expand out, and he knows that he's not under too much threat yet, or so he thinks. Bear in mind, he hasn't actually seen what's in my base. Much. A little. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to do the swapperoo right here. Or at least, I thought I was going to do the swapperoo. I saw those going in, and I thought, well, we'll get some Hellions out. So at least we've got a good way to deal with those speedlings. Not that that's a good way to deal with speedlings at all, really. It is kind of dumb. Popping out a single medevac. And I think I do a swapperoo at some point, whatever. It would be a smart idea to do a swapperoo right there instead of building those. I mean, if you're going to use a factory at this point against that kind of force, you're going to want siege tanks. You're not going to want bloody Hellions. I mean, I didn't even get the Hellions in the right place half the time. But what we can do is send them out to scout at least, so we can have a look at something a little bit fast-moving. Oh, look, it's a bunch of speedlings! Hey! Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Well, that was a little bit expensive. I probably should have just sent an SCV out there. Lord knows no one cares about the fate of them. Here comes his fast-moving scout. He's got the, whatever the speed upgrade name is for the Overlords. He's going to have a look and see what I've got. He's not really... I don't think he really sees anything in particular here. I mean, he's got a lot of barracks with reactors, but he's not seeing anything specific on the starport. I'm not building any advanced aircraft. So he has to be wondering at this point, well, what the hell is this idiot doing? Honestly, if he's not thinking that all the time, then he's doing it wrong. The lovely thing about expansions with Zerg, by the way, is you can send half your mineral line in, and then you can just pop out drones. And look at it. Hey, I'm going to build 15 drones at once because I'm Zerg. Near. Send a couple of Marines out to have a look around. This time I'm going to try and avoid it. Just check that he's got... I was wanting to just check if he's got no Overlords there, and as it turns out he doesn't. That's good. Okay, drop time. Now, I'm not terrible at drops. Oddly enough, I'm not great at them, but I'm alright. I understand some basic principles surrounding drops. So I decided I'm going to get 2 drop shits worth of Marines, and I'm going to see what happens. Now, what I should have done, really, is to research Stim before I did this. That would have given me a lot of extra firepower. Problem with Marines is that while they are nice and cheap, and they do well against air units, and quite a lot of units, they don't have a lot of concentrated firepower unless you stim them. I'm just going to check my wall once again. Nothing really up there, except I've got a couple of, well, I've got one Hellion there, jammed in there, just a little bit of a flame turret. Now, did I scout that? No, I actually managed to amazingly miss that expansion right there. Now, this is a great map to drop on, because I could drop behind his mineral line right there, and I could just lay down the pain. That's what I do, and of course, as a smart Zerg player, goes the hell away. Now, he needs to respond to that. Speedlings are coming in order to do that. I'm doing as much damage as I can, but that's not a lot of damage, really. It's a bunch of Marines, so like, hey, I'm going to get the hell out of here, so I get them out of there so I don't get hit by his Zerglings, which would be very bad indeed. And then I drop them off of the cliff. Now, he doesn't have a response to that because most of his army consists of melee units, so I'm able to take out the Vespene Geyser, do some damage, kill a queen as well. Not taking any losses right now, which is really good. Now, I decide to head back around and have a look and see what's here. And as I recall, I actually run across his expansion as I'm retreating. If I remember correctly. I decided it's not really worth going in there, which actually is a mistake. I could have very well gone in there. And he still doesn't have any ranged units aside from his queens. He doesn't have a response right now. He's building his spire, but he doesn't have it yet. And honestly, Mutalisks are not a good response for Marines at all. Now I'm building more and more Marines right here, and I believe I've got Stim on... Do I have Stim? No. I've got a shield on the way, which is good, but I should have got Stim way earlier. Yeah? Way earlier. I also should have got at least infantry upgrade level 1 on the guns, because that is definitely worthwhile. Going in for another strike right here. I waited too long. I should have got more aggressive. I turn around. He sees me with the Overlord, and I actually I ended up scouting this. So I thought, right, okay, let's take these guys down. Let's bring this hatchery to its knees. It's a good drop. He can't respond to it in time. He's going to try. He's got banelings moving across the map, but that's going to be way too little too late. Drop the Viking in there as well, and down goes the hatchery. Now, I've actually got him on the defensive right here, which is much better, and I even managed to grab my Marines and get them out there before the Broodlings ate them. That's alright. You know, that's not bad. It's not bad drop play, really. You know, it's like low gold as opposed to mid-bronze. If anyone wonders what I'm right now, by the way, it's mid-silver. I barely play. Now, I've decided I need to expand because I'm hitting these minerals pretty hard. And with this mobile force, with all these marines, I've got a lot of them. Huh? I'm sitting on 43 right now. That's a lot of freaking marines. I just wish I'd had stim earlier and a weapons upgrade. It could have been much more effective right then, kept the pressure on. If you're in a situation like this, you've just got to keep hitting them. Hit them over and over again. Marine shield, very nice. I can take way more hits now. I should have gone in there. And what's his response? Well, he's got banelings. But if I am able to use my drops effectively, then I shouldn't have too many problems with that. Here's the thing, though. Using overlords, he's able to put down these spine crawlers right here, and they'll be able to reach up onto the cliff. They wouldn't be able to if the overlord was dead, though, which is exactly what is going to happen if I drop 4 dropships worth of marines directly on top of it, or in this case, underneath it.
Can't hold him alone.
Viking got an R8, but the Mutalisks are totally out of position, and here we go. I was like, hey, am I going to go in there? Well, yes, I am. I can drop them in there, I can focus, but the Baneling's in from the side. Ow! Yeah, that didn't work out so well, did it? But I killed a spine crawler. And I'm going to kill those Mutalisks as well if he's not careful. Do have to get them out of there, though. I try and back them away from the spine crawler right there. Then focusing fire down on those Mutalisks, and that worked pretty well. That's not too bad. What's my strategy, though? I mean, why am I not applying pressure to areas that actually matter? I mean, what I should have done is I should have just avoided all of this crap, gone around the back, and devastated that mineral line. I could have very well done that, and I didn't. I was too fixated on his expansion right here, which is totally understandable, but really, what am I doing? I'm just sitting there. I'm not doing anything. I'm like, oh, what the, you know, I've had a couple of early victories. I'm not spending enough. I should be spamming out marines, marauders, upgrades, everything. I don't even have level 1 here. I mean, come on, really? Why would that be the case? Another start port coming up right here. I'll just swap her and get more of these marines and medivacs. And now I'm being chased away by the bloody Mutalisks. Trying to look for an area to deploy, but I've only got 9 marines left, and I don't think that's going to work out so well. Thankfully, my medivacs can only... Well, I lost 1 marine there and a medivac. He's going for the one at the front, which is very smart. But how many is he going to get on time? No, he's not. And hey, there's a bunch of stim marines. And oh, look, exploding Mutalisks. Great counter to that. Much better than the Vikings that I built in the first game. I was pretty lucky on the medevac, let's be completely honest with it. 1 HP? Really? Yeah, that was kind of silly, but hey, there you go. It's good stuff. It works, that's the main thing. The most important thing about it is that it did work. Double Evolution Chamber coming up right now for my opponent. Just look at how many bloody Banelings he's got. He's got 34 now. And of course, he's building what could be considered to be a direct counter to my Marine, so why wouldn't he? Totally sensible. Absolutely 110% sensible way of doing things. Okay. Go for a load up once again, but it's coming to the point where this strategy is not going to work out so well, and I'm being very much inflexible. So I'm switching to Banshees. The thing is, this Zerg player ain't dumb, by any stretch of the imagination, and I believe he has an Overseer somewhere. Yes, he's got an Overseer on his main base, so he'll be able to chase down the Banshees, and those Mutalisks could be a massive problem. Now, what I should have done is I should have brought some Medivacs along with the Banshees, with some Marines in it, and if the Mutalisks came in, I could have tried to respond to that. Now, what am I doing here? Well, I'm scanning the top of this so that I can maybe get range on these Mutalisks, bring them down, and as it turns out, I'm able to catch a few of them, bring them down with the Marine Ball. The Marine Ball's pretty tough. It's got Medivac backing it up, and it does also have that Marine Shield, so it's way better against Mutas. But here's the thing. While I'm mucking about, he's coming in from the side with a Baneling Assault, and that's going to be extremely problematic, because this area is completely toast. With so many Banelings, I mean, look at this. It's not going to happen. I stim him. He sacrificed the Mutalisks on purpose to take out all the Marines, and then he's able to focus directly on my orbital command. Gone. Toast. Annihilated. Brutalized, one might say. Now, I think, hey, I've killed all those Mutas. I'll be fine. Time for a direct assault with Banshees. I've got the cloak upgrade. Does he scout them? Yes, he does. But I do get a cloak in right here. What's he building in response to that? Well, he's got 8 Mutas coming out, which is absolutely fine. 4 Banshees coming in. Does he have any Spore Crawlers? No, he doesn't. That's good. I could get some damage off here. The problem is, what he does have is Queen and that. You can already see I'm taking fire from the Queen right there, so I decided to focus fire on that. Try and bring the Queen down. No problem right there. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of cloak energy, so I lost one already. Out comes his Mutas and a Queen from the rear. And now he's going to chase me away with the Mutalisks, and because I don't have any escorts with me, and I wasn't thinking far enough ahead, I'm in big trouble. Now, what could I have done there? Well, I could have brought Marines, but they would have just been toasted by those. I really should have just brought Vikings along with me. The Vikings would have been able to deal with the mutas because there weren't all that many of them. Again, they're not a great counter, but they're a good escort. That's the main thing. Now, those Banshees are about to run out of cloak, which is problematic, and all my Marines are dead, of course, and I didn't build any missile turrets, except for that one. So at least I'm able to take out one muta, but I lose all my Banshees in the process, which is way too pricey to justify what I just did. Now, yeah, I got loads of money that I haven't been spending, because I've been so focused on this once again. I did bind my buildings to hotkeys, but I didn't do it very well, and I wasn't consistently building units. It's something that I still have to do. It is macro management. It is a skill you must learn in order to be good at this game, and I don't quite have it off yet. I know what I have to do, I just forget. I'm not able to do everything at the same time. I can't multitask quick enough because I'm not good enough at the game, but it is something you will learn, and it is something you absolutely should be doing. That entire time, I should have been building Marines. Think about it. Think what would have happened if I had. I'd have been building Marines. He'd have gone after those Banshees, and he'd have run into a wall of death. Those mutalisks would have been destroyed. I'd have been able to save probably all the Banshees. Maybe lost one on the way back, but hey, Flight of the Mutas coming in right here, and look at how many he's got. Sitting on 17. Couple of missile turrets. Oh, look, Banshees, what can they do? Not a lot. Couple of Stim Marines, not enough. And that attack could have been, once again, blunted if only I just kept building. So, conclusion, that was a lot better, but still, I lost my momentum and I couldn't keep the pressure up. I got too fixated on that expansion. There were a number of opportunities that I could have gutted his base, or at least done serious damage to it, with those Marine drops, and it just didn't happen. Inflexible strategy, lack of macro management, and lack of situational awareness is what got me toasted right here. But, I'm looking forward to some more practice matches and training with this guy. I'm getting better. Or hopefully, I'm getting better anyway. I'm going to get out of the Wood League at some point, folks. And when I do, you better watch out. My name's been Totalbiscuit, and I suck at Starcraft 2. I'll see you next time.